Hello, Peter Murimi. Before we chat about your documentary, I Am Samuel, may you tell us how your life has changed because of COVID 19?
It's changed drastically, especially as a filmmaker. I was in the middle of a shoot, and I had to stop production. And in a sense, it was really humbling because sometimes, as human beings, we always think we're in control, and sometimes I guess it's nice just to accept fate, and things don't go to plan, but we have to survive and live with it and adapt.
Certainly. That's too bad. Well, I hope you resume production. May you please go ahead and pitch I Am Samuel to my audience?
So, I Am Samuel is a film about love. It's a film about uh, survival, and it's a film about resistance. Because being gay in Kenya is it's really hostile environment, especially leave alone legally, just from the community. And Samuel and his partner Alex have decided to live in this environment, live alone, just live to survive and thrive. So they find ways of adapting and coexisting in a hostile environment and still be who you are. But also, it's a positive story in a sense. You know, sometimes you talk about LGBT rights uh, in Africa and you think, oh, it's really bad. But in a sense, the family finds a way to accept and survive, and everybody coexists. So it's a story also about acceptance, but on your own terms, because the father accepts who Samuel is, but on his own terms.
Okay. So, how long did it take to make this documentary?
So this documentary has taken 6 years to make it. It's been an interesting and also very rewarding journey um, because it took a long, long time, especially because it's about access and to get used to and to get really close to the characters. So it was a 6 year journey that I'm very happy I took.
Wow, that's a long time to make a documentary, isn't it?
It is, but for a sensitive and a difficult topic, uh, there's no other way.
Hmm, I
Mm.
see. So, what was the most rewarding or enjoyable aspect of making this documentary?
I think it's just basically to get to the finish line, but also just to look at what we did and what we have done, and just because I think everybody, not just me, but all of us, are really happy with the film, and it is because we tried to be as honest as possible to the character's life, but also just to try and get inside what's happening to this family and become part of it and show what's happening in their small world to the whole world.
Was there a day that was notably aggravating, and how did you get through it?
Um, yes, there was a days were aggravating, but what happens, especially after being filming for so long, as a filmmaker, you become part of the family. And the advantage with that, it gives you validity to ask the difficult questions or to be there during the difficult moments because you're considered as part of the inner circle. And as I say, it was really easy to get through that because I was considered as part of the family and I think I am part of that family. And because of that, we got through it.
Mm, all
So
right.
it was not uncomfortable for me and I think for them because the barriers on the walls were gone.
Have you ever been to Toronto for hot docs before?
Yeah, so at the beginning of this process, I think actually 4 years ago, I came to Hot Docs because this film has got support from the Blue Eyes Fund. So I was in Hot Docs, I watched some good films, and but I workshopped this film in Toronto 4 years ago.
So, how do you convince narrow minds to not be homophobic?
So actually, this is the biggest lesson that I've learned during the making of this process. Because I could say at the beginning of the process, I was also not because the father was not accepting his son for being gay, so you could call him homophobic in the words. But I realized um, through the process, sometimes it just takes time and experience and exposure. And that's why I'm hoping like this film is really important in Africa, because we don't get a chance to show African viewers that they're African gay men living amongst us who are not rich, middle class, traveling the world, but you could be very poor African living in a slum and you could be gay. Because that misconception that it's a Western culture. And I think the problem is, it's not that they're narrow-minded, it's the inability of having constructive discussion. And that's what film and articles and books, and just we need to have more dialogue, and hopefully we'll have more coexistence.
Very nice, very nice. Was there a specific documentary that made you want to pursue documentary filmmaking, or was it just an experience with a bunch of them over a long period of time, or was there a singular experience?
So my journey has been very incremental. My introduction into film, I went into journalism school, and I was practically training to be a news cameraman. And I did that for a while. I was a camera assistant, but the more I was working, the more I got interested into documentaries. I started watching documentary films, but the thing that made me really want to make long form documentaries is because there are very few of us, like Kenyans at the moment, I'm speaking in my case, Kenyan, that are making long form documentaries. It is a foreign language right now in Kenya. So there's a number of people now at the moment, we could say like this new resonance and rising up. There are few people who are making films now, and we're hoping like this is the beginning of filmmaking as a genre taking hold in East Africa.
That would be very cool to see. I would love for you to tell me who was your most valuable player in the crew.
I would say really it's the producer, Tony.
Yeah.
We began this film like two of us, and without her, this film wouldn't have been made at all.
Wow.
Like she was like always there, like helping with the fundraising, helping with the storytelling, helping with the logistics, basically doing everything and letting me shoot and try and tell the story. And without her, it would not have been possible.
Wow.
And even the narrative arc, like really brainstorming. She's the one who we brainstormed a lot about the structure and the journey that we wanted to take.
And how are the people that are seen in the film doing right now? Do you stay in touch with them?
Yeah, I am. Like because we became really close, and just besides saying I'm the filmmaker and the characters, we are really good friends. And we're good friends with main characters Samuel and Alex. Good friends with the father and the mother, and they're doing really well. The father and mother are doing well. Samuel and Alex are doing well. So everyone is okay at the moment. They're doing fine.
How's Kenya handling COVID-19?
It's been mixed bag. It's really because when COVID, we got the first case and they locked down. So in terms of infection, it's not been high. Actually, we've been really lucky, touch wood so far.
That's good.
But because of the lockdown, like we've taken a really big economic hit, and majority of the people were living hand to mouth, and sometimes it becomes really difficult to tell someone who's poor, like just keep staying indoors. Like if you stay that, you'll die of hunger. So it's like a choice: do you die of hunger or do you die of COVID? Like, do you choose the pandemic or do you choose hunger?
That's not fun.
Yeah, so it's really just disturbing, and everyone is just waiting to see the end of this because economically it's not sustainable, especially in a developing economy.
Yeah. Do you have any pearls of wisdom as to how people can handle the quarantine itself?
Yeah, and we're all so different. But for me, I can remember I struggled the first 2 weeks. It was very hard for me to be productive. It was very hard for me to get my rhythm back of how my day should be. But I've discovered like exercising like every day is really important. Like it helps me sort of have a structured day, and also stopping working and watch a movie, read a book, or just look for somewhere and get some sun. That really helps me. Like getting those times to yourselves is really important. Like you have to tell yourself.
I absolutely agree with you that exercise is I've been going for long bike rides, and it's like I can't even think clearly until I do it. It really helps your mental perspective on things.
Yeah, it does. Without it, even the first 2 weeks, I didn't do it, and I was not productive at all. But now that I exercise, it's really helpful.
Well, there you go. So movies and exercise. I think that's actually very helpful advice. So Peter, thank you very much for your time. I guess COVID is the reality right now as to what your plans are going to be. But when COVID is done, do you plan on returning to the documentary you were working on?
So, as I said, like I have surrendered to fate, and basically what I've done, I'm working to finish the documentary without myself, because I have colleagues or filmmakers who are living where I was filming, and now I've had a collaboration. Now it's me collaborating with them to try and finish it, because the future is very uncertain. We have no clue when we could travel again, and so I'm just decided to move on with life, but in different ways. As they said, we adapt, and I am adapting to the situation. I'll even future ideas. If I can't be there, I will work in collaboration with someone who can be there.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you.